Hey guys, welcome back to my training series where I create a program and then follow it in real time, showing all of my sets and reps and how I like to organize and structure my individual training programs. Today is week 4, day 2 of my Hypertrophy 1.0 program, and today we are starting off with a chest supported T-bar row. I'm going up 10 pounds on this, so we're up to, if you're just counting the weights, we're up to 110 pounds. And then obviously, I'm going to be going at least a few reps shy of failure or to failure entirely, because after all, that's how you actually grow in the gym. If your goal is hypertrophy anyway, then you want to be giving it your all in every set.
That's okay. The first set is one. So
This week marks a landmark where we're actually doing 4 sets for this exercise. So it's quite a bit, I'd say, but luckily this is the final week. And each week we've been increasing volume. So after this, we'll take a little mini deload and then strike back with another program. So I got 12 pretty solid repetitions for that first set. That's on like the upper range of how I programmed it in Hypertrophy 1.0. I wrote 6 to 12 reps, so that's kind of on like the upper range. That being said, like I don't really care too much. Like last week, I think I hit 13 reps for a lot of the sets. So that just shows me that we can increase the weights. I think whenever your reps start to creep up higher than you programmed or you intended to, then that's a good indicator that it's time to add more load and makes the exercise a little bit challenging, because the last thing you want to do is kind of be stagnant in your exercises and say that that's good enough. You always want to be pushing that envelope, so to speak. Luckily for me, I already went up 10 pounds. So I think that this is probably just a good indicator that I'm even stronger than I think.
thanks.
12 reps is definitely my limit, though. There's no way I could do 13 with good form with this weight. So I'm glad that we found the upper limit, and we're gonna stick to it for today. I'm gonna try and get the next 2 sets the same as the first 2 for this lift.
Wow.
Frick. All right, last one for this lift. Last one for the primary compound horizontal row of this particular section. I think that my form has been pretty good, but I don't know if you guys are the same way. When I know that, and I see it on a program, that I have like a shit ton of sets, part of my language, in one session, then I tend to not give each set its dues. You know what I mean? Like I'm not treating it with the same quality that I may if I know, like, hey, oh, I only have 5 sets for this whole session. Wow. Each set is going to be like the best ever versus if I have 10, 15, 20 sets a session, 20 is a lot. If I have 20 sets a session or whatever, then like unconsciously, I tend to not perform as well on each given set. That's something that I need to work on personally. Let me know if you guys have the same issue. I'd love to know. Last couple reps there were a little questionable, but I don't think that they were past that threshold where I wouldn't count them or anything. It's just I think that I now know the weight that I should stay at for a little bit. I'm gonna stay this weight for a little bit longer. All right. Even though I spoke a lot about my flexibility issues with this lift last time, how I really struggled to hit the bar to my chest, I think I'm still getting like a pretty solid range of motion from my lats and from my back, which is all that really matters at the end of the day. So I think I'm gonna try and progressively overload on this. I went up 5 pounds and we're going to hit the same amount of reps at least, which was about 10. And today I'm just going to try strapping up because why not? You know, I mean, I don't think that straps are going to hurt me at all. They're only going to supplement my lifting. We'll give it a go for the first set. And if I don't like it, then I'll change it up. As I'm sure you noticed, I added like a little bit of just some lat specific vertical pulls at the very end just to like crank out a little bit more of some lat stimulus out of the lift. I figured why not since we're already at the very end of the set. Anyways, that felt pretty good. I think I may widen up my my form a little bit. So go a little bit slightly wider than shoulder width. And then I do really like my tempo there. I think that the tempo was good. The concentric, that pulling part was pretty explosive. And then the eccentric, the raising phase was pretty slow and controlled, which is exactly what I want. So. I like the lat pull down a lot because you're like super stable. You're really locked into place. I think that's a great marker of a hypertrophy lift. Okay, that's gonna do it for that one. Say that those were 3 successful sets, so I'll take it. And now we've officially hit our back really hard from 2 positions, not only a horizontal like we did with the T-bar row, but also now vertical. So we're getting 2 really important lines of pull, and I think that that's important. If you guys ever make your own program or something, you want to hit each muscle group from kind of like different angles and different ways. You don't just want to be hitting it the same way every single time. Like you wouldn't only be doing a row forever. Otherwise, your back would only grow in one type of way. I mean, of course, you're still gonna be hitting the whole back, but you're preferentially targeting a certain area over another. So if you want to be well-rounded, include different angles, different versions of exercises, mix it up a little bit, just not too much. Okay, I'm finishing off lats with the straight arm pull down, the straight arm cable pull down, and I really like this one because you're kind of isolating the lats. So it's a single joint movement instead of a multi-joint movement. And so I like to kind of add it as like icing on the cake in terms of volume, as far as volume is concerned. Today I'm going up, I think it's like 2.5 pounds, but here's the thing is that I'm using 2 separate cable machines. Before I was using the cable machine over there. And I've talked about this before, but I feel like every cable machine is not like calibrated to each other because this doesn't even have the same numbers on it. These are in like 2 point increments of 2.5 and then the other one's in increments of 5. So it's a little bit different. And unfortunately that cable machine is out of order. So we're just going to go up a little bit to 67.5.
One more. Yeah.
After reviewing the footage, I came to the conclusion that I think that I'm rushing through my reps. I could definitely spend a little bit longer on the eccentric phase. I think the concentric is good, but the eccentric, I think I'm rushing just slightly. And that's probably because I'm doing so many reps, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be treating each rep the same with the same equal intention. So I'm gonna try a little bit harder. Something that I mentioned before, but I'll say it again, is I don't like keep my elbows super locked out. I don't think it's super necessary. The main thing is that I'm trying not to bend my elbow because if you bend your elbow too much, then you're going to be involving some tricep. I'm also trying to keep my torso relatively like in the same position in space to prevent swaying back and forth and having unwanted muscle groups assisting in the motion.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Well,
Yeah, not right now.
Sure.
Hey.
Oh, I started. I'm definitely getting this moment.
They soon go.
Sports cross.
All right, that definitely felt a bit better, so I'll take it.
Get some water.
Yeah. Next, I'm moving on from the direct back volume to rear delt volume. So, we're doing 5 sets of the cable rope face pull, and then we'll do 5 sets of the rear delt fly like this. So it's quite a bit of volume, but hey, I said before, this is week 4. That kind of rhymes. So we're up to 20 sets per body part for this week. So of course the volume's going to be high, but luckily after this, the sets are going to go dramatically back down so that we can slowly build up again. I think that that's just a great way to program progressive overload in some sense, is to gradually increase volume up to kind of like your breaking point where you're overreaching but you're not overtraining, and then back off and then rebuild. I'm going up 5 pounds on this from 42.5 to 47.5 because last week I got 15 repetitions for every single set, which is really, that's like on the upper range of where I want to be. So we're going up in weight.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here's a little bit of that, but I like body fat.
Yeah.
You also have body fat. You lost. I'm trying to turn body weight off. So I'm doing a little bit of body fat, but maybe.
Okay, I got 15 on that again. So I'm actually going to increase it a little bit more because while 15 is a good number, I'd like it to be harder by the time I hit that 15th repetition. So we're going from 47.5 to 52.5. I noticed that while looking at my form, I'm kind of like thrusting my hips forward while doing it, which is kind of making it easier to retract my scapula. So on this next set, I'm going to try and stay as rigid with my torso as possible. I'm going to have a slight bend in my knees and really try and hold my ground for the whole set.
Yeah, you just put them on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then, and I don't know how that's what I used to do. Fulfill was like in the back.
Oh.
I used to go for like 5 on the one round.
I think I could do like.
There's a lot of body to make up. It's like 30 more pounds.
That was immediately a little bit more challenging. When you're keeping your torso rigid like that, you're forced to just use the muscle that you're supposed to use, which is a great thing. But it kind of sucks when you can't hit the same reps that you did last time. Oh well.
Ready. Wrestling.
God.
Pretty bad. Another.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Maybe you should go like animate convention.
That's my people. That was hilarious. Yep. That's fine.
All right, there's the last set of the cable face pulls. I'm gonna keep the form consistent, keep the weight the same, and we'll finish this off strongly for the 5th and final sets of these for a while, actually, because these aren't programmed again on this week. So we'll see if I include it in the next program. I may, I may not. And by the way, this program is meant to be reran in perpetuity. I mean, you could definitely keep running this program if you so choose to. The only time I'd say to change it is when things get stagnant or stale. You can't keep progressing in any given lift, in a certain lift, and change it out. You shouldn't be loyal to a lift anyway. So that's how I feel about it.
If you would like a pizza, bye.
That's a little.
Here's the sky, like a big pizza pie.
Everyone's about here.
That's it.
All right, there you have it. There's 5 sets of the rope cable face pull. Next, we're going to be finishing off the rear delts with the straight arm cable rear delt fly. I write down most things regarding my training, like sets, reps, you know, pretty much everything pertaining to that. Every single set and rep I'll write down, including the weights as well. However, I don't write down where certain things go on machines. For instance, this is like right below the 6 here. And, you know, that could be a good idea to write something down like that, because then you can keep consistent progress, not only with your sets, reps, and weights, but also with exactly how the machine is set up. You can even do that with like a freeway exercise. You could say, oh, I touched the dumbbells together at the top. Oh, I chose not to do that. I, you know, went all the way down to a stretch. I stopped shy, whatever. You could keep consistency.
I think that was me. Wow. Everyone should.
Yeah.
Okay, I kept the weight the same there, but I actually got 1 more repetition. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I think that my form was pretty spot on as well. Catch me 4 weeks ago, there's no way I could do this weight with this form for this many reps. There's just no shot. So I think that that's a really good indicator that your program is working. You know, are you getting stronger? Are you improving in some way? If you're seeing that progress, especially like in the mirror on the scale, then you know that you're doing something right.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what's on them?
No. This is like the ads of those red bugs you show. Okay, people should skip.
You don't want to.
All right, the sets are starting to get a little bit more challenging, which is good. You know, I think it's inevitable if you're doing like 5 sets for one exercise
I feel like this is dry.
and you're doing the same weight every single time, it's going to get really challenging towards the end, like no matter what, just because you're doing so many freaking repetitions. Anyways, I just got 1 more set of this and then we can finish off week 4, day 2 with some curls. We'll do the conventional bicep curl with the forearms, and then we'll finish off with machine preacher curls so that we get both like kind of the full range of motion and then one that's preferentially targeting the peak contraction. I'm not going to rush too long on this last set. I don't think that any fly variations require that much rest per se. So I'm just going to get right back into it, try my hardest.
Did you just go? Oh, yeah. Okay, I got one more.
I'm not really hungry. I still really am.
We still need the energy.
God, I'm so annoying. They always ask for the programs and grocery lists.
That is.
Like, it doesn't.
We're up to 4 sets for the barbell bicep curls today. That's quite a bit of sets, but I need to stop complaining. I'm the one who programmed this in. We're doing 20 sets per body part for this week. It's a lot, but the research and data, it shows us that 20 sets is where people generally get the most gains that they possibly can. Right around that like 20 to 25 set mark, that's like peak in terms of hypertrophic effects. So we're up there. The only problem with sets as high as 20, 25, even upwards of 30, and especially upwards of 30, is that it's so fatiguing on your body. You can't be running it for long. And that's why, I keep talking about it. We're going up in sets until we hit 20, which we're doing this week, and then we're backing off a little bit. And then we're gonna start back around probably 15 for the next program. And then we're going to slowly work our way back up to 20 or 22. I may even go up to 22. I might do 16 to 22, just for the fact of, while we're going up over time, while we slowly build up and then go back, it's kind of like this sort of graph. May as well do like a long arc progression, not just a 4 or 6 week progression, but like a long-term one where we slowly work our way up to something like 25 or 30 sets. Obviously, this stuff isn't for the faint of heart. If you don't have time or you're not super into the gym, then I wouldn't be doing something like this, because this is obviously, it requires like 6 days a week of training to get this much volume and this much like good volume and like volume that's actually going to count towards something. Because if you're cramming all your volume into like 4 days, and it's going to be very, very challenging to keep the like quality there. Okay, I got 10 good ones and then 1 partial rep. Now let's do some direct forearm work. To kind of relate back to what I was saying before, what I mean by, it's really hard to cram a bunch of volume into like four workouts a week. The reason for that, the true reason behind it, is you're going to have to be doing so many sets in each and every day that even if you have all the time in the world, even if you have like pretty much all day, 3 hours to work out, let's say, you're going to hit a wall, Your sets in the beginning of your workout are going to be inherently much higher quality because you went into the session fresh with a positive mindset. Towards the end of the session is where you're going to run into some issues just by nature of, lifting is very systemically fatiguing. It's stress. It's a very high stress. I mean, just look at how your blood pressure goes through the roof while you're lifting. You know, it's stress to your body, and therefore, in the beginning, your body can handle it. Towards the latter half of the session, your body probably can't, depending on how many sets you have programmed in. And that's kind of what I'm struggling with right now. Is, you know, I got 4 sets of this. I've already done like 20 sets. I'm pretty fatigued at this point. However, I keep reminding myself that this is the peak of the program. This is where it's supposed to feel this way. If I felt this way in week 1, then we know that the program isn't designed effectively, because if I'm feeling this way in week 1, then how the hell am I going to feel in week 4, you know? But we're on the last week now. Same deal, same quality set. I'll tell you, at least I got the consistency down. Okay. The only thing that I think can really assist you if you're trying to do a lot of volume in one session, and is particularly assisting me now, spend as much time as you need on your rest periods. Make sure you're fully recovered in between sets, because if you're rushing your rest periods and just trying to boom, 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 boom the sets and just get them out of the way, the quality of the sets are going to go down. You're going to feel more fatigued. It's only going to build up some inner resistance inside of you, and it's going to become much more challenging by the latter half of the workout for that day. It's going to become much more challenging. So I'm making, even though I'm starting to feel pretty fatigued right now, I'm giving myself adequate rest time so that we can still get some pretty halfway decent sets out of it, you know? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last set of the barbell bicep curls. The set numero cuatro. So the fourth, I almost forgot what that was in Spanish. 4th set. I'm keeping the reps completely the same across the board. We hit 10 and a half pretty much for every single, of course, I'm not recording that half set, but I'm hitting 10 full range of motion reps for each set. And then after this final set, I'm going to be moving on to the preacher machine curl. So then we'll be concluding with week 4, day 2. Barely even get that half rep. Oh well, it's not super important. The full range of motion ones are where it's at anyway. All right, so I'm opting to keep the weight the exact same for this exercise, the machine preacher curl. And the reason for that is because last time I feel like the reps weren't as high quality as they probably should be and as they probably can be. I feel like I was kind of using some momentum, kind of rushing through them a bit. I think the last time I was like about to run out of battery or something, so I was especially going a little bit quicker than usual just to try and get as much on film. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This whole deal is it's lifting comes first, entertainment second. You know, it's all about improving myself and you guys as lifters, getting the best that we can out of this skill, out of this craft that we love doing. And the entertainment aspect, me filming it and everything, is just like a side effect. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm keeping the weight the same. We're gonna keep it here until I feel like the form has the form is quality enough. On the program, I've written down that I did 12 repetitions per set. Those 12 must have not been super high quality because I think I just did 10 with decent quality. And the last, if I chose to do two more, they wouldn't have been full range of motion repetitions. I pretty much hit failure there. So, I think I'm gonna cut it off at 10 reps for this end of the program. I know this is the last time I'll be doing these, but at least for a little while. Who knows? It might be in the next program. I'm not entirely sure. I'm in the process of writing it, but it's not completely complete yet because I wanted to wait until I was near or finished with hypertrophy 1.0 so I could kind of dissect it and see what I like, what I don't like, what I want to continue moving forward with, and what needs to change entirely. And I think I have a pretty good grasp on it now. Ooh, that was tough near the end. It's probably because I didn't rest for as long as I probably could have. Maybe it's okay though. I mean, this is the final exercise. Plus, it's a machine bicep curl. It doesn't really get as specific and as isolated as this. This is about as specific and isolated as it gets. So, we'll just rest another 30 seconds or a minute or so, and then finish this off. And then this is going to be finishing off week 4, day 2. I've loved every step of this journey, but I'm excited for the next program. You can only run the same thing for so long before it gets stale, in my opinion. Of course, there's outliers where people will literally run the same program for the whole entire lives, but those are people that are just, in my opinion, are just going to the gym, just like stay in relatively good shape and it just like feels good or whatever. But I'm here, and I'm sure that all you guys are as well, because you're on YouTube watching stuff like this. You're here to become the best lifter possible and to have fun with it along the way and to learn and grow. So let's do that. All right, guys. Gonna do it. Week 4, day 2 in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this one. I'll see you tomorrow for week 4, day 3.